Assalamualaikum and hi to madam. Today our group will present about the function of diplomacy. So before we started with our presentation, let me introduce our group member. The members are Chang Yong Wei, Chong Yen Yi, me Siti Khadijah, and Fatih Najiha. Introduction, I will explain about the definition of diplomacy and definition of diplomatic mission. So diplomacy is the institutionalized communication between internationalized recognized official of international recognized body through which representative manage and distribute public goods. Definition of diplomatic mission is a group of persons from one country or organization that travel to another country to formally represent their home country or organization. So the definition have three key features, which are communication, the process of double recognitions, last one about producing, managing and distributing public goods. To begin with, diplomacy is fundamental about communication. It is about remarkable and highly institutionalized mode of communication. Dialogue is very important in diplomacy. Of diplomacy. The term diplomacy may be traced back to the ancient Greeks. The phrase of diplomat in classical Greece actually comes from the word for elderly man, which was later adopted by the French diplomati to refer to the role of negotiators. There is historical story about the diplomatic action dating back thousands of years. The first diplomatic letter was engraved on tablet and discovered in present-day northern Iran around 2500 BC. And it was apparently sent by envoy who had traveled over 1200 miles round trip across multiple kingdoms. Sovereigns have traditionally dispatched envoys to other sovereigns to pursue a set of goals, including ending hostilities, preventing conflict, concluding treaties, or just maintaining friendly relationship and expanding business. The modern period of diplomacy is often dated to 1648, when the Treaty of Westphalia concluded the 30-Year War. It also established governmental independence as well as the concept of religious freedom and tolerance.
Good day, doctor and everyone. My name is Chong Yen Yi and my metric number is 277789. Now I'm going to talk about function of diplomatic. The first function of diplomatic is negotiation. Negotiation is bringing together differing viewpoints into a single conclusion. Negotiation happens in our daily life. For example, when you are negotiating to get the best price on a used car or trying to prevent or end a global conflict, negotiation has unique characteristics that set it apart. The characteristics of negotiation including unanimity regarding the decision rule, formal equality, mixed motive, and a three-way decision choice. As a term in international politics, negotiation refers to reaching an agreement on an issue between governments through discussion between those governments officially designated representatives. In any cases, negotiation is a vital diplomatic duty. This is due to the fact that the diplomatic system currently includes significantly more than the activity of resident missions. As we move into multilateral diplomacy, parliamentary and the other expanding sector of the world diplomatic system, mediation and negotiation is becoming the operational emphasis of the world diplomatic system. Besides that, negotiation can be used to prevent conflict from escalating and becoming violent, to manage relationships, such as by shifting the means of their pursuit from violence to politics, and to resolve fundamental incompatibilities between positions or transform them into cooperative relationships. The Juvenile Conference process of harmony discussion in the Middle East is an excellent illustration of the power of negotiation in diplomacy. Our group agrees that negotiation is better than non-negotiation because negotiation is about evidence, not just ruthless logic of situation. The next function of diplomatic is information and communication. In diplomatic context, it is essential to distinguish between monitoring and evaluation functions, the latter of which is typically left out of the conversation. The latter can investigate either short-term or long-term changes involving a state, region, organizations, individual, or issue. Monitoring can take many forms, including covert intelligence gathering. It is defined diplomatically as gathering information about a sending state's reporting or presentation from public sources in a receiving state, such as the press, television, radio, journal, and other outlets in the state. The goal of diplomacy is to spread an idea or evidence about a problem in order to gain acceptance or political support for the proposals it proposed by laying the groundwork. In addition, the large quantity of information available from a variety of sources regarding issue they would have covered and other developments in international relations has a significant effect on foreign ministries. Some functions may be contested, but information and analysis, as well as substantive representation and management functions involving explanation and promoting of interest, are of greater significance. Moreover, the evolving communication landscape is one of the most influential factors in the organizational and functional development of foreign ministries. Depending on the objective and interest of diplomats and embassies, the information environment for each diplomatic layer can vary significantly. It can be said that there has been a significant increase in communication between the overseas post and the center, and between the decision makers and the event. For example, Egypt's interests include not only Egyptian politics but also the Greater Middle East. There is no doubt that the ICT revolution has radically altered the international community and profoundly impacted the practice of contemporary diplomacy. The introduction of innovative information and communication technologies has caused a paradigm change worldwide. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Madam Rosia. My name is Fatina Jiha and I will be explaining about the other function of diplomacy. The third function is propaganda. Propaganda means a form of communication that is used to mislead or persuade others to support certain idea or opinion. Over the years, propaganda has existed in various forms, including arts, pictures, statements, and entertainment. The main function of propaganda in terms of diplomatic mission is not only to promote things that are controversial, but also tend to promote things that have been tolerable and inoffensive. It also comes from different kinds, like it might be hidden or obvious, emotive or rational, and might come from combination of both. The examples I could give that related to the use of propaganda is when British and German try to gain support from US. Both countries are aware of the propaganda strategies. For illustration, BBC was urged by the British government to continue providing broadcasts in Spanish and Arabic language in order to avoid the propaganda that was brought by the German government. While Germany asks and persuades people from America that are actually of German descent to be hostile with British people. This was done by both governments in order to protect their national interests. Next is when Nazis were able to persuade the people from Germany through arts, pictures, statement, and entertainment that the economic crisis after the World War I was not the fault of administrative failing. The Nazis often used propaganda just to defend their decisions, no matter whether it was wrong or right, and also to spread their ideologies as they climb to power. Another two examples are the use of posters called "Your Country Needs You" and "I Want You." The main purpose of these two propagandas were the same, which is to encourage the audience to join the military and to raise public support. Lastly, representation also one of the functions. The meaning of representation is an idea or speech that can work for or against the person being represented, politically, economically, or through written text. A group of people with the same goals can be represented. The representation could appear in a variety of industries, organizations, and sectors, features in the media, and even appears in a regular discussions. It plays a major role in a world of diplomacy because it could help countries to promote economic and political interests, bargaining, communicating, and dealing with problems. So, in terms of diplomacy, representation means the representatives of many different groups with different backgrounds and goals in order to meet and discuss matters such as war, economics, environmental, science, and for ensuring their country's peace. So, for example, the representation is about like Sir Nigel Shinward, that is a British ambassador to the United States. The main purpose of Shinward and other British diplomatic missions is to represent their country interests to the United States government. And at the same time, the British people in the US were also served and assisted by them. And of course, in this matter, the British ambassador helps the people on legal issues like visa requirements and permanent residency. Next, representation also plays a major role in ensuring the country's peace and security. For illustration, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has their own representation in Malaysia. As the representative in Malaysia, they provide assistance for the government of Malaysia in rescuing and helping those refugees from Vietnam. That is all for example of diplomatic function from me and Yanin. Thank you.
Good day to Madam Rosa and everyone. I am Chang Yong Wei and my matrix number is 277920. Following section, I'll be presenting about diplomatic methods. There are three methods that will be discussed here, which is cooperative strategy, resistance and delay, and active strategy. States may employ a variety of diplomatic techniques, which collectively are referred to as diplomatic skill. Countries must take time to consider and evaluate which strategies are beneficial to them among all the options. Numerous diplomatic actions are based on a cooperative methods. Diplomats use this way to interchange opinions, clarify strategy, obtain project funding, and construct the ties between countries and negotiate. The most challenging tactics in diplomatic skills are undoubtedly interchange of views and explanation of stances. Furthermore, the outcomes may not be readily evident, and determining a conclusion may take longer time. To prevent diplomatic formalism and clinch interactions, tolerance is important as well as thorough preparations. Cooperative approach frequently involves significant ceremonies to enhance the diplomatic visits. Diplomats will pay special attention to these ceremonies because they will contribute to the prominence of the ties between countries. Resistance and delay are the following diplomatic methods. Instead of changing to agreement, diplomacy may be driven by approaches that rely upon resistance or pursuing delays if positions are detained. Diplomats will request explanations, seek for many conversations, and write amendments to this approach in order to modify, suspend, or prevent claims. Besides, diplomats will also indicate a readiness to discuss before withdrawing, offering minor compromises on the exchange rates, or restructuring to diffuse criticism or agreeing to examine. This delaying strategy can be used in a variety of situations, including securing more suitable wording in a draft conversations, safeguarding a fundamental economy purpose, minimizing environmental expenditures, increasing domestic safety, preventing attack, and backing a partner. Diplomats must have excellent diplomatic capability to use all of these approaches successfully because sometimes there may be a need to construct cooperation although the fundamental goals are entirely opposite. Diplomats must guarantee that the partnership benefits both parties. Lastly is active strategy, a comprehensive foreign policy stance that attempts to extend the positions. activities and impact of a country is an active strategy. As elements of the continuous growth of diplomatic impact, active strategies tactics also comprise rather ordinary measures. Co-hosting global events, financing or co-sponsoring resolutions and conciliations efforts are all examples of incremental tactics. Apart from that, extensive utilizations of visit diplomacy, publicity and site diplomacy are usually used to support active strategy. That's all from me, thank you.
I think we have come to the conclusion. So, diplomacy is not just about how the things are, but how the things should be. The important thing is we need to truly understand about the concept and definition of diplomacy. Then we need to know what the function of diplomatic missions and what the methods are and how to deal with them. I think that's all from our group. Thank you.